The neon lights of Nexus Station's bustling trade hub flickered overhead, casting an otherworldly glow on the eclectic mix of aliens gathered in the infamous galactic grog bar. I couldn't help but chuckle as I watched my companion, Zix La, a Quatsoni trader with 4 independently blinking eyes, try to wrap his mind around the concept I'd just presented. "So, you're telling me that humans are the most respected traders in the galaxy?" Zix La asked, his quartet of eyes blinking in rapid, asynchronous succession, a clear sign of disbelief among his species. I couldn't contain my amusement, the sound coming out as a series of clicks and whistles through my mandibles. "Oh, my dear Zix La, you have no idea. Humans aren't just respected, they're feared. And let me tell you, it's not for the reasons you'd expect." Zix La's antenna twitched skeptically as he leaned in, his curiosity piqued despite his obvious reservations. "But how? They're so squishy, and their lifespans are ridiculously short compared to most spacefaring races. How could they possibly dominate interstellar trade?" I took a long sip of my fermented nectar, savoring the sweet burn as it slid down my throat. The drink, like everything else in this bar, was a unique blend of flavors from a dozen different worlds, a perfect metaphor for the melting pot of cultures that was Nexus Station. "Ah, my friend," I began, setting down my glass with a satisfying clink. "That's where the story gets interesting. You see, it all started about a century ago, when humans first made contact with the galactic community. The year was 2157, and humanity had just stumbled onto the galactic stage like a drunk at a black tie event. They'd managed to cobble together a functioning warp drive, using what many alien observers swore was nothing more than duct tape and sheer stubbornness, a claim that, surprisingly, wasn't too far from the truth. Suddenly, humanity found itself face to face with a universe teeming with alien life, advanced civilizations, and untold wonders. Now, most species, upon discovering they weren't alone in the cosmos, would react with a mixture of wonder, fear, and cautious optimism. Some might focus on scientific exchange, others on cultural understanding. A few might even consider the military implications. Humans? They saw dollar signs. Within months of first contact, Earth had dispatched its first interstellar trade mission. As a motley crew of entrepreneurs, economists, and one very confused botanist, there was a mix-up with the paperwork that would later become the stuff of legend, set out to see what the galaxy had to offer, and more importantly, what they could sell to it. Their ship, optimistically named the Profit Margin, was a cobbled-together mess of human and alien tech. It looked like someone had taken a cargo container, strapped on some engines, and called it a day, which, coincidentally, is exactly what they'd done. The ship's chief engineer, a burly woman named Olga Petrov, had famously declared, "If it flies, it's a spaceship. If it doesn't, it's modern art. Either way, we're making history." The captain of this illustrious vessel was one Miranda Chen, a woman whose business acumen was matched only by her ability to swear in 17 alien languages, 18, if you counted her creative use of Zorblaxian interpretive dance. As they approached the massive trade hub of Galactic Market 7, Miranda gathered her crew for a pep talk. "All right, you lovable idiots," she began, pacing back and forth in the cramped bridge. The crew, a diverse mix of Earth's finest and occasionally strangest minds, watched her with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. We're about to make history. The first human trade mission in the galaxy. No pressure, but if we screw this up, we'll probably be remembered as the morons who tanked humanity's economic future. The crew shifted nervously, except for Dr. Evans, the botanist, who was too busy trying to figure out why his petunias were now glowing in the dark and humming what sounded suspiciously like the theme from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Miranda continued, her eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and what some might call madness. "Now we've got a ship full of Earth's finest exports. Chocolate, coffee, peppers hot enough to melt your face off, and enough alcohol to make a Krogan question his life choices. Our mission is simple: trade this stuff for the most valuable alien tech we can get our hands on. Any questions?" Her hand went up. It belonged to Raj Patel, the ship's economist and resident pessimist. Yeah. What if they don't want any of our stuff? What if they think chocolate tastes like dirt and coffee is poison?" Miranda's grin widened, taking on a predatory gleam that made several crew members take an involuntary step back. "That, my friend, is where the fun begins. We're going to introduce these aliens to the finest human tradition marketing." And with that ominous declaration, the Profit Margin docked at Galactic Market 7, ready to introduce the universe to the chaotic wonder that was human commerce. The aliens of Galactic Market 7 had seen many strange things in their centuries of interstellar trade. They'd witnessed the graceful dance of ethereal crystal merchants, haggled with the notoriously shrewd Zorgak's hive minds, and even survived the infamous Great Slime Mold Bubble of 2130 Galactic Standard Time. But nothing could have prepared them for the whirlwind that was humanity's first trade mission. As soon as the airlock cycled open, Miranda and her crew burst onto the scene like a glitter bomb at a funeral. They set up shop in record time, their booth a riot of color and noise that stood out like a supernova in a sea of beige. Holographic displays flickered to life, showcasing Earth products with all the subtlety of a carnival barker on stimulants. "Step right up, folks," Miranda called out, her voice amplified by a hastily rigged translator that somehow managed to convey her enthusiasm in 17 different languages simultaneously. "Get your hands on genuine Earth goods. Satisfy cravings you didn't even know you had." The aliens approached cautiously, curiosity warring with suspicion. A tall, spindly creature that looked like a praying mantis crossed with a giraffe was the first to speak. Its name was unpronounceable in human tongues, but Miranda immediately dubbed it Stretch. "What is this?" "Chocolate you speak of," Stretch asked, mandibles clicking in curiosity as it examined a holographic display of a cocoa bean. Miranda's grin widened to dimensions that would have made a shark feel inadequate. "Oh, my friend, you're in for a treat. Chocolate is only the most delicious substance in the known universe. One bite, and you'll wonder how you ever lived without it." Stretch's compound eyes narrowed, a gesture that Miranda's xenobiology crash course told her indicated skepticism. "That seems unlikely. We Zarthaxians have experienced culinary delights from across the galaxy. How could your simple Earth food compare? Why don't you try it and see?" Miranda countered, holding out a small square of dark chocolate. She'd practiced this move for hours, perfecting the casual flick of the wrist that made the chocolate catch the light just so. It was a move that said, "This is no big deal," while simultaneously screaming, "This is the most important decision of your life." Stretch hesitated, multiple limbs twitching in indecision. Then, with a movement almost too fast for human eyes to follow, it delicately plucked the chocolate from Miranda's hand with one of its pincers. The entire market seemed to hold its breath as Stretch brought the morsel to its mandibles. Time slowed to a crawl. Miranda could hear her own heartbeat, the hum of the station's life support systems, and what sounded suspiciously like Dr. Evans' petunias starting a rendition of Stayin' Alive. Then, Stretch took a bite. The reaction was instantaneous and, in Miranda's humble opinion, absolutely hilarious. Stretch's eyes widened to the size of dinner plates, its antennae quivering with what could only be described as ecstasy. The alien's normal greenish hue flushed to a vibrant purple, and a sound emerged from its mandibles that Miranda's translator struggled to interpret before settling on cosmic orgasm. "By the cosmic egg," Stretch exclaimed, its voice rising several octaves. This is, orgasmic," Miranda supplied helpfully, barely containing her glee. "I do not know what that word means, but yes, I believe so." Stretch turned to the growing crowd of onlookers, its limbs gesticulating wildly. "Friends, colleagues, esteemed beings of all species, you must try this chocolate. It is a revelation, a divine gift from the humans' mysterious planet." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Aliens of all shapes and sizes swarmed the human booth, eager to get their appendages on Earth's exotic offerings. Miranda and her crew were run off their feet, trading chocolate, coffee, and spices for alien technologies they barely understood, but were pretty sure would make them rich beyond their wildest dreams. But it wasn't just the goods themselves that captivated the alien traders. It was the humans' approach to business that really threw them for a loop. You see, most galactic civilizations had evolved beyond the need for aggressive capitalism. Trade was a genteel affair, conducted with quiet dignity and mathematical precision. Prices were set based on complex algorithms that took into account scarcity, production costs, and the current position of Betelgeuse in relation to the galactic core. Humans, on the other hand, traded like their lives depended on it. Which, given the ramshackle state of their spaceship and the fact that Dr. Evans' petunias had now developed the ability to phase through solid matter, probably wasn't far from the truth. And Miranda wheeled and dealed like a woman possessed. She upsold, cross-sold, and somehow managed to sell ice to a species that lived on a planet with an average temperature of -200 degrees Celsius. You don't want to be the only Blorxian at the nebula cluster without a coffee maker, do you? She asked a gelatinous blob with too many eye stalks. The blob quivered in distress at the thought and quickly agreed to the purchase, along with a year's supply of premium Arabica beans and a set of Earth mugs. Raj, meanwhile, was having the time of his life explaining the concept of supply and demand to a group of hive-mind entities that operated on a system of perfect communal sharing. You see, he said, drawing complex graphs in the air with a light pen, scarcity creates value, and right now, Earth goods are the scarcest thing in the galaxy. The hive minds buzzed in confusion, but something about Raj's enthusiasm and the 6 cups of espresso he'd consumed in the last hour must have been contagious. Soon, they were eagerly trading rare minerals for cases of soft drinks and novelty t-shirts. Even Dr. Evans, still puzzled about his role in this grand adventure, found his niche. His glowing, humming petunias had attracted the attention of a group of energy beings who communicated through bioluminescence and harmonic resonance. Before long, he was embroiled in a complex negotiation that seemed to involve trading the plants for what he thought might be the secret of cold fusion, but was more likely a really good recipe for cosmic cocktails. By the end of the first day, the humans had traded their entire inventory for a hodgepodge of alien tech that made their ship look positively primitive in comparison. But more importantly, they'd made an impression. As Miranda and her crew packed up their booth, they overheard snippets of conversation from the departing aliens. Did you see how they traded? It was like watching a black hole negotiate with a star. I've never felt so exhilarated or so broke after a trade deal. Do you think they'll be back? I need more of that espresso stuff. I can see sounds now. Miranda gathered her tired but exhilarated crew. Well, folks, I'd say that was a success. We came, we saw, we caffeinated the galaxy. Not bad for our first day in the interstellar markets. Raj, the economist, was furiously crunching numbers on his datapad. He looked up, his eyes wide with disbelief. Miranda, do you realize what we've done? Based on the standard galactic exchange rates, we've just increased Earth's GDP by about 500% in a single day. There was a moment of stunned silence, broken only by the sound of Dr. Evans' glowing petunias softly humming the theme from Star Wars, a mystery that would remain unsolved, but would later inspire a best-selling series of alien relaxation albums. Miranda's grin was positively shark-like. Well, looks like humanity might just have found its niche in the galaxy. Strap in, everyone. Things are about to get interesting. Little did Miranda know just how prophetic her words would prove to be. Humanity was about to embark on a roller coaster ride through the cosmos, with trade as their vehicle and chaos as their co-pilot. Word of the humans' trading prowess spread through the galactic grapevine faster than a rumor at a telepath's convention. Within weeks, human traders were the talk of every spaceport and marketplace from the core worlds to the outer rim. Aliens marveled at the humans' ability to sell anything to anyone. There were stories of human traders convincing aquatic species to buy desalinators for when you want that fresh water feeling, persuading creatures with no sense of smell to invest in perfume factories. It's not about the scent, it's about the concept. And even managing to market pet rocks to a silicon-based life form. It's not a rock, it's a life companion. That last one caused a minor diplomatic incident and a lot of confusion about the concept of pets, but it also sparked a galaxy-wide debate on the nature of consciousness that would keep philosophers busy for centuries. But it wasn't just their salesmanship that set humans apart. It was their sheer, unbridled creativity when it came to trade. Humanity seemed to operate on a principle that the rest of the galaxy found both bewildering and fascinating. If it exists, someone somewhere will buy it. And if it doesn't exist, we'll invent it and then sell it. Take, for example, the now legendary incident at the Betelgeuse Bazaar. A human trader named Jack O'Neill found himself stuck with a cargo hold full of sunglasses, a tough sell in a sector populated primarily by species with compound eyes or no eyes at all. Most traders would have cut their losses. Jack? He invented a sport. He called it Stellar Squint, and the rules were simple. Participants would stare at Betelgeuse's notoriously bright sun for as long as they could. Last one to blink or equivalent wins. Oh, and participants had to wear protective eyewear. Guess who just happened to have a ship full of sunglasses for sale? The game became an overnight sensation. Species that had never before considered the concept of eyewear were suddenly clamoring for Jack's sunglasses. Within a week, he'd sold out his entire inventory at a 1,000% markup. When asked about his unorthodox marketing strategy, Jack simply shrugged and said, "Sometimes you've got to create the demand before you can supply it." This create the demand philosophy became a hallmark of human traders. They didn't just sell products, they sold lifestyles, experiences, and solutions to problems aliens didn't even know they had. Human marketing campaigns became the stuff of legend. There was the time Sarah Goldstein convinced an entire sector that Earth cheese was a potent aphrodisiac. Her slogan, "Get cultured, get lucky," was plastered across billboards in 17-star systems. Sales of Earth dairy products skyrocketed, and there was a marked increase in the birth rate among several species. The fact that most alien physiologies were lactose intolerant was conveniently overlooked in the marketing materials. Fashion-conscious aliens across the galaxy began sporting garish holiday sweaters to high-profile events, each one convinced they were at the cutting edge of interstellar couture. But perhaps the most audacious human trading scheme was pulled off by one Marcus Blackwood, a smooth-talking ex-con with a gift for the gab and a moral compass that pointed firmly towards profit. Marcus had somehow gotten his hands on a large quantity of Earth soil. Not particularly valuable stuff, you might think, but Marcus saw potential where others saw dirt. He began spreading rumors about the miraculous properties of Earth soil. It could cure ailments, bring good luck, even enhance psychic abilities. The fact that humans had no psychic abilities to speak of was conveniently overlooked. Soon, aliens were falling over themselves to get their tentacles, pincers, pseudopods on some genuine Earth dirt. Marcus sold his inventory for astronomical prices, marketing it as premium Terran quantum entangled biosubstrate. Of course, it was all a bunch of hogwash. But by the time anyone thought to actually test the soil, Marcus was long gone, his pockets lined with enough credits to buy a small moon, which, incidentally, he did, but that's another story. The galactic authorities were not amused. There were calls to ban human traders, to impose strict regulations on their activities. But here's the kicker: even as they complained about human trading practices, aliens couldn't stop buying from them. It was like humanity had tapped into some primordial instinct, some deep-seated desire for novelty and excitement that transcended species boundaries. Aliens knew they were probably being hoodwinked, but they just couldn't help themselves. As one Zorlak philosopher put it after buying a shipment of authentic Hawaiian shirts, the humans' greatest trick isn't their ability to deceive us, it's their ability to make us want to be deceived. But it wasn't all smooth sailing and easy profits for human traders. As their reputation grew, so did the challenges they faced. For one, not all aliens were thrilled with the humans' approach to commerce. The Vox Tara Consortium, a coalition of hyperlogical species that prided themselves on their rational approach to trade, saw human marketing tactics as borderline criminal. They launched a galaxy-wide campaign warning other species about the illogical and potentially hazardous nature of human goods. Their slogan, "Think twice, buy once, and never from a human," became a popular catchphrase in certain circles. The humans' response? They turned the slogan into a t-shirt design and sold millions. The irony was apparently lost on the Vox Tara. Then there was the infamous coffee incident on Proxima Centauri III. Human traders had introduced the stimulant to the planet's insectoid inhabitants, neglecting to mention its rather intense effects on their physiology. The result was a planet-wide caffeine rush that lasted for weeks. Proxima Centauri II's productivity skyrocketed, but so did incidents of insectoid road rage and impulsive megastructure construction. To this day, no one's quite sure what to do with the half-finished Dyson sphere orbiting the planet's sun, although it's become a popular tourist attraction. The human traders responsible for the incident, the Caffeine Brothers, no relation, just a catchy business name, narrowly escaped prosecution by arguing that they had single-handedly advanced Proxima Centauri I civilization by several centuries. The fact that they made this argument while the judge was enjoying a freshly brewed cup of their supernova blend may have influenced the verdict. But perhaps the biggest challenge came from an unexpected quarter: other humans. As more and more people from Earth got into the interstellar trading game, competition became fierce. It wasn't uncommon for rival human traders to try to sabotage each other's deals or spread rumors about their competitors' products. The Great Hot Sauce War of 2189 is still spoken of in hushed tones in trading circles. What started as a simple disagreement over market share between two hot sauce manufacturers escalated into a full-blown corporate conflict that left three-star systems temporarily uninhabitable due to excessive capsaicin levels in the atmosphere. The conflict only ended when a third human trader, sensing an opportunity, introduced the galaxy to milk as a revolutionary new fire-quenching beverage. She made a fortune, and the warring hot sauce factions were forced into an uneasy truce. In the aftermath of these and other incidents, the Galactic Trade Federation stepped in. They created a new classification just for human traders: high-risk, high-reward merchants. Any species looking to trade with humans had to sign a waiver acknowledging that they were, essentially, gambling with their money and possibly their sanity. Surprisingly, this only seemed to increase humanity's appeal in the galactic markets. There's nothing quite like a little danger to spice up a trade deal, after all. As the years passed, humanity's impact on galactic trade only grew. Earth goods became status symbols across the galaxy. Alien nobles would brag about their collections of vintage Coca-Cola, while possession of a genuine leather jacket could make you the coolest being in your star cluster. But it wasn't just Earth products that were in demand. Human traders themselves became hot commodities. Alien megacorporations began headhunting human marketing experts, hoping to inject some of that Earth-style pizzazz into their operations. Interspecies business schools sprang up, offering courses in human negotiation techniques and Terran-style persuasion. The most prestigious of these, the Galactic Institute of Human Business Practices, boasted a faculty that included retired human con artists, used car salesmen, and one very enthusiastic dog who had somehow been awarded an honorary doctorate in tail-wagging economics. Their graduation ceremony, which involved a complex ritual of handshakes, backslapping, and the exchange of totally legit certificates, became a must-see event in the business world. There were even rumors of a secret society of alien traders who attempted to unravel the mysteries of human commerce through rigorous study and meditation. Their mantra? Be the human, sell the human, profit like the human. Members of this society could often be spotted in busy spaceports, wearing Earth neckties usually incorrectly and practicing their firm handshakes on bewildered passers-by. But for all their success, humans never quite lost their reputation as the wild cards of galactic trade. Their methods were unpredictable, their products bewildering, and their sales pitches just slightly insane. Take, for instance, the case of Lily Chen, no relation to Miranda, who made a fortune selling bottled air from various Earth locations. Her top seller? Genuine New York City smog. Feel the grit of success. It became a must-have item for aliens looking to recreate the authentic Earth experience in their homes. Or consider the pet rock craze of 2250, which saw billions of perfectly ordinary Earth pebbles sold across the galaxy as low-maintenance companions. The fact that many alien species were silicon-based and found the idea deeply offensive only seemed to drive up demand among other races. It sparked a philosophical debate about the nature of consciousness that raged for decades and inspired no fewer than 317 space operas. And who could forget Jeremy Watkins, the human trader who managed to sell the concept of insurance to a race of precognitive aliens? His slogan, "Because even seers need a safety net," became the stuff of trading legend. The fact that he managed to convince beings who could literally see the future that they needed protection against unforeseen events was hailed as either the greatest feat of salesmanship in history or the greatest con, depending on who you asked. But perhaps the most audacious human trading endeavor was the great Terran timeshare scheme of 2275. It all started when a consortium of human traders, led by the infamous Slick Ricky Saunders, acquired the rights to an unremarkable planet in a backwater system. The planet, which they dubbed New Cancun, was a rocky, inhospitable world with acid rain, frequent meteor showers, and a complete lack of breathable atmosphere. In short, it was worthless, or it would have been, if not for the magic of human marketing. Ricky and his team launched a galaxy-wide advertising campaign, billing New Cancun as the ultimate extreme vacation destination. Their ads featured daredevil aliens in protective suits surfing on waves of acid and playing meteor dodgeball. The slogan? New Cancun, if it doesn't kill you, you're not doing it right. To everyone's amazement, it worked. Thrill-seeking aliens from across the galaxy began booking timeshares on New Cancun. Soon, the planet was dotted with pressurized resort domes and extreme sports facilities. When a Galactic Trade Federation investigator finally visited New Cancun to see what all the fuss was about, he was shocked to find that everything in the ads was true. The planet really was a death-defying thrill-seeker's paradise. When questioned about the clearly insane nature of the entire enterprise, Ricky just shrugged and said, "We figured if humans would pay to jump out of perfectly good airplanes, there had to be aliens out there crazy enough to vacation on a planet that's actively trying to kill them." He wasn't wrong. The success of New Cancun sparked a whole new industry of extreme space tourism. Soon, there were packages offering everything from zero-gravity bungee jumping in gas giants to lava rafting on volcanic moons. Humanity had essentially weaponized its own recklessness and sold it to the galaxy. As I finished regaling Zixlar with these tales of human trading exploits, I noticed his 4 eyes had glazed over slightly. Whether from disbelief or an excess of information, I couldn't tell. "So you see," I concluded, taking another sip of my now lukewarm nectar, "that's why human traders are both respected and feared across the stars. They're unpredictable, creative, and have an uncanny ability to sell anything to anyone." Zixlar shook his head, his antennae waving in what I recognized as a gesture of bewilderment. But that's not trading," he sputtered. It's madness," I supplied helpfully. "Genius?" "A bit of both, perhaps." "Yes," Zixlar exclaimed. "How has this not caused a complete breakdown of galactic commerce?" I chuckled again, the sound reverberating through my mandibles. "Oh, it's come close a few times. But here's the thing about human traders: for all their craziness, they do provide a valuable service. They innovate, they take risks, they find markets where no one else thought to look." I leaned in conspiratorially, lowering my voice to a whisper. "And between you and me, I think the rest of the galaxy has developed a bit of a taste for the chaos humans bring to the trading floor. Makes things exciting, you know." Zixlar looked around the bar nervously, as if expecting a human trader to pop out and try to sell him a timeshare on a lava planet at any moment. I think I understand now, but I'm not sure I like it." "If you do," at first I admitted, signaling the bartender for another round. "But give it time. You might find yourself looking forward to the next crazy human trading scheme. After all, there's never a dull moment when humans are involved in galactic commerce." Just then, a commotion at the bar's entrance caught our attention. A human woman had just walked in, her arms laden with what looked like potted plants. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of indeterminate gender," she announced to the bar at large, her voice carrying over the din of 100 alien conversations, "have I got a deal for you? Genuine Earth succulents, low maintenance, high fashion, and they probably won't try to eat you in your sleep. Probably." I turned back to Zixlar with a grin. "Case in point, want to stick around and watch the show?" Zixlar's eyes darted between me and the human trader, who was now expounding on the virtues of cacti to a very confused-looking Andromedian. Finally, his curiosity seemed to win out over his trepidation. "I suppose it couldn't hurt to observe," he said cautiously. "For academic purposes, of course." "Of course," I agreed, raising my glass in a toast. "Just remember, if she offers you something called a Venus flytrap, politely decline. Trust me on this one." As we settled in to watch the human trader work her magic on the unsuspecting bar patrons, I couldn't help but smile. Another day, another bizarre human trading scheme. In a galaxy full of wonders, somehow humans and their insane approach to commerce never failed to keep things interesting. And really, isn't that what good trade is all about? Not just exchanging goods and services, but ideas, experiences, and maybe a little bit of chaos too. In that respect, humanity might just be the best thing to happen to galactic trade since the invention of faster-than-light travel. Just maybe think twice before buying that timeshare, even if it comes with a free set of steak knives.